We're all on a spiritual journey. At certain times in our life, we're more aware of this than others. T.S. Eliot called these intersection points between the timeless and time. At those unique times in my life, I've often recorded my impressions through art or poetry. For example, there's a place near the entrance to Bryce Canyon, Utah, called Red Canyon, where two stone columns stand out on an eroded hillside. Something about this scene captured my attention. While painting them in an art class, I realized why. They reminded me of people. A man and a woman. The stone columns had eroded into people. And then, again, eroded into dust. It reminded me of the saying, "Remember, man, that you're dust, and to dust you shall return." I really didn't understand the full implications of this painting until a few years later, when I had the opportunity to climb up to the same level as these columns. While trying to climb back down, I was hanging from a ledge, unable to find my foothold. I realized I could die right there. It really dawned on me just how quickly my life could be over. This is called the circular production line.
What are these people doing?
Well, they're building a smaller version of the production line. The four people on the bottom of the painting are putting them together. They go from left to right. Each one of them puts another rung on the wheel. When they are completed, they're passed to the four people on the top of the painting, who proceed to take them apart and return the pieces so that the process can continue endlessly.
Why are they doing it?
Oh, good question. They don't seem to be thinking too much about it. Socrates said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." When I painted this, I had no real purpose in life. The writer of Ecclesiastes said, "All is vanity. What profit hath a man of all his labor, which he taketh under the sun? One generation passeth away, and another generation cometh, but the earth abideth forever. The sun also ariseth, and the sun goeth down, and hasteneth to the place where he arose." Ecclesiastes 1, 3-5. I was looking for some kind of meaning in life, and I thought perhaps if I got involved in politics, it would give me some meaning in my life. But Chicago and Illinois politics were rather disillusioning. This is called Mount Rushmore, Illinois version, the land of Lincoln and 4 imprisoned governors. There they are behind bars. As a crowd gathers around the politicians at the whistle stop, I'm up in the tree there looking for something else. This is called vague longings, present ennui. Ennui is a French word that means a feeling of utter weariness and discontent resulting from satiety or satisfactory fullness or lack of interest and boredom. That's where I was. Some people can find escape in pleasures and activities, but others can't, but they keep going anyway. This is a man in a wheelchair. The man in a wheelchair finds himself in the middle of a frozen lake. Slowly he skids his way toward the frozen moon. For lack of anything better, he has faith in his own ignorance. He just doesn't know. I felt like a Franz Kafka character, never able to get to the castle or wherever he longed to go. This is a poem I wrote at the time called Toward the Sun. This is part 1 of it. Part 2 is better. In the early morning light, Garden of Eden seemed in sight. Then suddenly it disappeared before my eyes, and all around me darkness filled the empty skies. On the horizon the sun went down, Must have burned itself into the ground, 'cause ever since that day I've never seen its light. So I crawled up and I grew, though for what I never knew, trapped here in this land of endless night. I've explored all through this land. I've seen mountains turn to sand. I've seen deserts rise up from the ocean floor. Yet my instincts draw me toward the skies. Dreams of castles fill my eyes. It's like I'm trapped in a dungeon, searching for an open door. The emperor's palace is where I'm bound, though I know it may never be found. Lord, I can't be sure that it even exists. There's no yellow brick road to follow, and my soul, it feels so hollow. Yet something inside me makes me want to persist. I kept hoping there was a light at the end of the tunnel. If this being of light stays on the path, they can join with the greater light at the end. This is called Journey of the Soul. This is called The Quarantine City, the painting, and the poem that goes with it is called The Pilgrimage. The pilgrimage takes many forms. Some go to Mecca or the Holy Land, others to Tibet to circle the sacred mountain. Still others stir coffee and stare silently. It often occurs during a time of plague. I was quarantined, shut up, a prisoner in my own home. I went up the secret stairway to the roof, looked out over the city's wall to the sea, and let out a homesick sigh toward an unseen shore. Oh, for the day when after the storms and shipwrecks, after the sirens and cyclopses, perhaps grasping the broken rudder, I shall awaken on that celestial shore. But yet it is said, the kingdom of God is within you. I must go back, downward, downward, deeper still, through narrow alleys filled with garbage, walls covered with graffiti and cave drawings, a freak show in a house of mirrors. Look, there's the rubber backbone man. There's the smug snake charmer dying from the slow venom. Over there's the amazing two-faced man. I'll never deny you, he says, then begins to curse and swear in denial. My voice joins in the debasing song of the demons. No, help, let me out. I awaken 1,000,000 miles away in the pseudo-safety of my own sickbed. This is called Interpreter of the Incommunicable. A child becomes separated from his parents. Lost, he wanders for hours through the city. He comes to the sea and is filled with a sense of joy greater than as if he had found his parents. Unfortunately, he is unable to communicate his experience. At this time in my life, I was inspired by the art of Giorgio de Chirico to see beyond what meets the eye to invisible realities. In his paintings, deserted streets were full of mystery and life. Everyday objects took on new meaning, and I could see it happening in my own life. Something was going on that I couldn't explain or even express. I was taking an inward journey. Picture on the left is called Invitation to a Journey. Then I went through the schizophrenic doorway in the middle. And the painting to the right is called Journey of the Blind Philosopher. Notice someone has left some canes for him. At the time, I was in college wrapped up in existential philosophy, figuring that there was no God. But these unexplainable coincidences kept happening to me. It was no accident that I came across Carl Jung's book called Synchronicity, about meaningful coincidences. It was no accident that very similar synchronistic events happened to both of us on April Fool's Day, or April Fish Day in his country. I later read, "The fool has said in his heart, there is no God." Psalm 53:1.
Coincidence is defined when God does a miracle and remains anonymous. Coincidence builds on coincidence until a pattern forms.
Reality has been put to the test and is proven to be insufficient. If you follow the road signs past innumerable unmarked turnoffs, you will invariably come to the only logical destination, the open book and the broken mirror. This is called The Unexpected Door. It's from a very vivid dream that I had. If you notice, the angle of the door is the same as the angle of the clock, the angle of the books, the angle of the glass of water, and the angle of the globe itself. All these things were working together. Something was going on in my life that I just couldn't explain. As I finished this dream, I saw this flaming cross, and then I woke up. This is a poem, The Unexpected Door. Between the question and the answer, between the cure and the cancer, between the night and the light of day, between the map and the homeward way, between the water and the thirst, between the blessed and the cursed, between the lost and the found, between the free man and the bound, between the parents and their child's cry, between the empty tomb and sky, on the day when the powers of heaven are shaking, or right now this moment while your heart is breaking, lies the unexpected door. You've never really noticed it, though it's been there all along. Like the words to a half-remembered Sunday school song, the message was so simple while life is so confusing. Who would think that life and death depended on their choosing? But someday you'll feel a need from the depths of your empty soul and go searching for someone to come and somehow make you whole. He's standing now beyond the door. Oh, can't you hear him knock? It's up to you to let him in. On your side is the lock. If there was a God, where was he? Where was he leading me? Would I have to make this journey alone? Keep following. Watch my next video called The Meeting.